Guys, tonight is not a story, it's a demolition. You heard the rumors, you've seen the scraps, but what I'm about to deliver with evidence from inside the DOJ, the screenshots, whistleblower posts, and government admissions is the most complete, redacted, covered up, tampered with operations in recent American history. This is the biggest thing since freaking JFK files. We're talking Pam Bondi's Pfizer cover up. Bet you didn't know about that one. DOJ editing the Epstein footage, and then Epstein client list that Dershowitz admitted seeing. He said he saw the damn thing. We have Virginia Duprey's FBI blackmail tapes, and then we have 8chan insider leaks hours before Epstein was found. We have Bongino threatening to resign, and Trump attacking his own base because of the blowback. This is the intel drop the media can't say, so I will, guys. We're going to get into it, and thanks for joining me. So anyway, first off, let's start off with Pam, Shield Big Pharma, Bondi. Pam was handed the keys to the Department of Justice in early 2025. Now, we had high hopes, man. We thought, dude, they're going to go down, take down Fauci, Milley, the Bidens, this and that. But you should have knew out of the gate whenever Lindsey Graham forever compromised, who called for her Grand Slam touchdown, Olympic gold medal pick, he says. You should have knew the writing was on the wall when that freaking lizard man came out for her in her defense. Right after Bondi took over, man, she dropped the DOJ investigation against Big Pharma, Pfizer. The case, foreign bribery, is what it was about. Pfizer was being looked at for paying off officials in China and Mexico. Clear violation of the FCPA. Okay. Now here's the problem. Pam Bondi used to work for Pfizer. She was a paid legal consultant. And the second that she took power, she issued a memo deprioritizing all corporate bribery cases, unless there was compelling evidence. A few weeks later, boom, Pfizer's investigation closed. Pfizer's cleared, and statements have been scrubbed. That's not coincidence. That's a backroom hit job. And you see the other junk she's doing, right? We have the tampering with Epstein video. All right, this came out of Wired. So let's pivot to the kill shot. The footage of Epstein's quote unquote death. One, let me mention that it was not even in the same location as his freaking cell. I've already covered that last week. But we had Dan Bongino and Kash Patel sitting there. I showed this clip, a month ago. Oh, we've seen the footage. It's been enhanced. Enhanced means code word. It was edited. The DOJ said it would be raw, uninterrupted. But again, for Wired magazine did a forensic. They had forensic experts check it out, and it revealed that the metadata, the file was stitched from two separate clips. It was edited in Adobe Premiere Pro. If you don't know what that is, it's editing software. A lot of YouTubers like me use it. It was saved 4 times and then re-uploaded as an official unedited surveillance video. Yeah, it's getting stinkier. It's getting stinkier. That's called evidence manipulation. That is a felony level obstruction by the highest law enforcement body in the country. They edited a death scene, period. If you or I did that, dude, we'd be in prison. Kash Patel jumped in to say none of this is true. Where is it at? Where is he? Where I got him at? I got the thing somewhere. Maybe I don't have it. I did have the little clip of. Let me see if I still got it here, because I would love to pop it up here. Here, I'm gonna get it right now. Kash Patel, man, the conspiracy theorist. First off, we all know what that word means. That means it's true. Okay. The conspiracy theories just aren't true. Never have been. It's an honor to serve the president of the United States, real Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me. So he had to say he had to come and defend the deep state. Sorry, Cash, we got the receipts, man. We know it's fake. The conspiracy theories are true, unfortunately. And it's sad that he even used that word. We know that's the CIA word. Now, 2 hours after Epstein's took himself out, per Castrotel, we had someone post on 8chan. Now, this individual wanted to be sure not to be doxxed. He didn't want his information out there. But basically said a trip van showed up. No plate, no log. Epstein was wheeled out, cuffed. No triage spoke to him. Guy in green military dress and back. I think they switched him out. Now, this post came before the news even hit mainstream. And then poof, 8chan was taken offline by Cloudflare. Gone. Is that a coincidence? I think not. I don't believe in coincidences. That was an insider leak. There was someone inside the building that leaked that. Again, 2 hours after. So the theories that I've heard a lot of my subscribers say as of late is that they believe he's still alive and potentially could be true. They did a body swap. We know the brother has done interviews saying that he didn't believe it was him because he never saw the body. There's a picture of the nose. It is not the same nose or a distant shot of Jeffrey Epstein. So it's potentially now thinking maybe he was taken out alive. And maybe he's part of a bigger intel scheme and still running. Still running. If we're talking Mossad, CIA, okay, and we got some more stuff on. You're going to be kind of blown away by this tonight. Anyway, now, Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's lawyer, and one of the men accused, he was supposed to be on the list. He said he's personally seen the client list, and that it's being deliberately suppressed to protect powerful people. But we're told there is no list. Really, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? What's she in prison for? Trafficking minors to no one? You can't have a trafficking conviction without having trafficked people. You can't get 20 plus high profile flights to Chester Island and then pretend no one got off the plane. Okay. Now, Virginia Duprey, her diary was leaked. Okay. She said Epstein had the island full of hidden cameras. She saw footage of these cameras and she wrote it clearly that the FBI has the footage and yeah, they're using as blackmail, she says. So maybe our own government's using as blackmail. Let that sink in. This was about a sick billionaire. It wasn't just about a sick billionaire. It was about it's about an intelligence operation, honey traps, to use as leverage. And that footage is now a classified FBI archive, protected not for justice, but for political control. Okay. Now, going back to the day that Epstein supposedly self-deleted, right? Said he called his mother before, 15 minutes before, right? Or I'm sorry, a little bit before. I don't know exactly how long before. He called his mother, they say. Okay, is this the clip here? Yeah, he called his mother. But his mother has been dead for 15 years. Okay. Now, thanks to Michael Tracy, we know that he actually called this lady here, Karina Shulak. She's a 30-year-old, quote unquote, girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein in Belarus. So he made a call to Belarus. Now, why Belarus? You have to ask that. And does Jeffrey Epstein really have these 30-year-old girlfriends all over the world? Because Belarus is full of intelligence operations, Russian by proxy. Maybe it was his extraction call. So a few hours before he calls Belarus telling that it was his mother. However, that's the day he gets extracted. So I don't believe he called his mom. I believe he called for the escape plan. Hey, go ahead and pull me out, guys. Now, this is the thing. Now, whenever I say Russian intelligence proxy, in the intelligence world, you have double agents. You have intelligence organizations working outside of their country. So, I mean, It could have been Mossad working out of Russia, out of Belarus. Sorry, but Belarus, not Russia, out of Belarus. So could be potentially that. Now, I love memes. The Epstein list needs to be released, but Peter, it would literally destabilize the world. 2/3 of Congress and a large portion of the world's most powerful people would be in prison. Society would at least partially collapse. I already said I'm for it. You don't have to sell me on it. Exactly. Because I hear guys saying, man, what do you expect? You're going to collapse everything. Dude, get them Chesters put behind bars, right? Now, Trump has seen that he's gotten wind that the Epstein heat is building. What does he do? He posts this. What's going on with my boys and girls? Pam Bondi's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team. Why are we wasting time on a guy who never dies? Okay. Now, I mean, he says a lot. He says the Epstein list was created by Obama, Hillary, Comey, Brennan, losers of the criminal Biden administration. He talks about the Russia collusion. He talks about he's released JFK, Martin Luther King files. He talks about making America great again. He said the left is imploding. Cash Patel and FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending months after months looking at the same old radical left-inspired documents of Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen. They tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way, not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody and nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, people are upset about this. He has gotten torched, roasted on this. But I think it's important to note, they said someone that never dies. He literally called Epstein a guy who never dies, right? And again, he went on to say that these files were made by Hillary, Obama, Comey, or whatever. Now, that could be potential. I'm going to show a clip of Alex Jones stating that it could be that they had these files. They could have doctored them. They could have removed the people that they wanted to protect. They could have added a lot of stuff about Trump or Trump's people. You never know. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Balls and strikes. And after years of saying they will release the Epstein Filer list, suddenly they're not going to, and we're told it doesn't exist. But then Trump comes out last night and says, well, it does exist, but the Democrats had control of it, manipulated it, which is actually true. They've had control, but they would destroy anything they didn't want in there and leave what they wanted in there that their investigators could plant. So people say, well, then whose side are you on? This is a giant fiasco. I'm trying to call balls and strikes. I'm trying to look at every angle of this and understand what's happening, understand why the Trump administration did a 180 the last few months, and particularly the last week, and did this, and then blames loyal supporters who support the overall agenda as being traitorous for doing this. Now, we all know what triggered this. It was Elon 2 months ago saying, look, Trump's in the list, and that big break up there, and then Trump wants it closed. He wants it shut down, which looks extremely, extremely incriminating. But from all of my deep research, never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So we are simply here tracking this case, not choosing a side, not wanting to make things be what we want them to be, but simply looking at the facts. But I dropped the ball. I didn't even think about the fact. I'm like, oh yeah, if they've had the list and they've had the files for years, the Democrats would take stuff out, destroy it. Well, that's obvious. They would leave in and twist and put in what they wanted. They have a long history of false documents, reports, Crossfire Hurricane, the list goes on and on. January 6th. So we've got to investigate this. We've got to keep open minds about this on all angles. But this is the big story. And this has put the Trump administration into a mega massive crisis. And Trump at press conferences and the rest of it saying, don't ask questions, triggers the ultimate Streisand effect and is insane. So I don't know where in the world they're coming up with that plan. We'll continue to track this in live time. We'll cover the good Trump's doing. We'll cover the bad he's doing to give Trump our ongoing advice. And I'm going to post a video later, do a live show today at 4 p.m. Central, breaking down what I think Trump needs to do to get things back on track. And that's release everything That's why Steve Bannon wants it released. He went and interviewed Epstein. He knew him. Nothing to hide. You got Alan Dershowitz saying, release it all. Doesn't incriminate me. Okay, well, then release the whole thing. This is not going away. It's only blown up 10 times bigger. It's out of control.
So Trump did say, don't waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Democrats created the Epstein list. So he's saying that they created a list, but if that was the case, why would they not use it against Donald Trump? That logically speaking, if they did in fact inject Donald Trump into this list, why would they not use it then? Right? If they could have edited it, they could have removed their allies and so on. Because Donald Trump has not always felt this way. Listen to him when he was running in 2016.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends
well,
of
I
yours.
can't say friends, but I know
You're
them.
friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play
Are you
at my
saying
clubs.
there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political problem.
That's one question.
Bill Clinton.
So he's very confident here, stating that Clinton's on the list and this could be a problem. If the man were involved on the list, I don't know that he would even be speaking about it. It would be dumb for him to do that. So anyone who says that, oh, he was on the list, I think it would be very dumb for you to bring something up that you're actually in as well, or you're in. Okay. So I don't know. And that's this video. We're just talking through things because there's a lot of unknowns here. We're talking about the knowns, and then I'm trying to theorize the unknowns. The logically speaking, if I was involved in something, I would not blame someone else to bring more attention to it. I would step away from it. Now, the problem I have though is he did side with Pam Bondi. I've always thought Pam Bondi was from the swamp creature as well from the very beginning. I remember I told you that I got some attacks early on whenever I said that I was not a fan of Pam Bondi because she's a red flag supporter. She's a anti Second Amendment supporter. She wants to, obviously remove firearms from people. And I wouldn't want anybody like that. And obviously with the Pfizer things and stuff, she's just an ate-up swamp creature. But Donald Trump sided with Bondi. And he told Bongino and every pissed-off supporter to stand down, essentially, is what he did. Now, I'm not happy about that. And again, the MAGA supporters were not having it either. Thousands of replies called it out. People said they're losing trust. One user said, I've been to your rallies. I was at J6, but this is betrayal like no other. Alan Dershowitz said that he's seen the list. You said you'd release it. Where is it? He did say he would release it. Now, coming into Friday, we had insiders say that Dan Bongino was threatening to walk out if Pam Bondi did not step down. He was ready to blow it up. And Trump's response was to attack him, attack the base, and call them selfish and defend Bondi. That was Bongino's line, okay? The MAGA group is falling to pieces. The pro-Trump movement's fracturing, not exactly because of the lies, but because we're being asked to swallow them, okay? Check it out.
This story for us live from Washington. David, tell us what you're learning here.
Well, Martha, this clearly has been bubbling up over the past few days, but now spilling out into the public between Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino. He took the day off today from work, we're told, because he's so upset about the rollout of the Epstein memo that DOJ released earlier this week. Two sources familiar with the meeting say both were at the White House on Wednesday to discuss a unity path forward with the Trump administration following criticism from the Trump base about a DOJ memo out earlier this week that insisted Jeffrey Epstein's client list never existed and he committed suicide. Now, this after Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel and Bongino for months said Epstein information would indeed be released in some form. Bongino apparently was so upset, again, he did not come to work. One source says they haven't seen him since Wednesday at work, and he may end up resigning. He was critical of the Bureau as a podcast host before being named Deputy FBI Director. As for
So we got Bongino here who's He's maybe feeling he can't do it anymore. He can't go on with the lies, okay? But let me make this clear as day, guys, is that Epstein's death was staged. Whether someone else took him out or he was exfilled, it was staged. His operation was real, and his handlers are still active. That is the most important thing I want to let you know, is that the handlers are still active. I've seen people, because Donald Trump's now saying we're going after 300,000 missing migrant kids, and people are commenting, well, we need to focus on that. Jeffrey Epstein's old news. Jeffrey Epstein's handlers, the people that are really in control, the people that can shut presidents up, they can shut down the FBI, the CIA, and everything else. They have more power. The entirety of all of American infrastructure are still at large. I believe I know who they are. I believe I know the country they come from. But the fact of the matter is that they're still in control. They can control the entirety of our government. That's a problem. That is what you call deep state. That is what you call global handlers. And these people are still running the whole entire show. So you can go find the 300,000 missing migrant kids, but you can also do this as well. I don't believe you only have one man that's doing a job, and he can only focus on one. We can focus on all these things, but we have to stop the deep staters. In 3 years, everything's going to go back to where it was. There's going to be open borders. There's going to be destruction of the middle class, and so on. There will be 10 Pride months out the year. You name it. All of that will come back immediately. Week one. A week one with a swipe of a pen, everything will go back, and it'll be worse than what it was previously, because then this time they will put guardrails to protect ever trying to correct course of the country again. Make no mistake, that will be what happens. So that's why this is so important. We have to get control of this thing. We have to expose these people. We have to bring people to justice. I know it's only been a few months into the presidency, but we have to start making moves, because right now with the Epstein thing, it makes me think now nothing's really going to happen. And I could be wrong, and I hope I am. But unfortunately, any kind of experience you see, and you see things being shut down. The other thing is why I don't believe it's a made-up Democrat list is because we have Jamie Raskins, who's a known Trump hater, is calling for subpoena for Pam Bondi, Castell, and Dan Bongino to publicly release all information they have on Jeffrey Epstein files. So even we have Jamie Raskins going after it, right? So we have people on both sides of the fence. We have Representative Luna here, Paulina Luna. Listen to her.
Classification of the JFK records is literally what they should be doing with Jeffrey Epstein. The administration released tens of thousands of documents, and I will say credit due where it's deserved. The CIA director, Radcliffe, was the only CIA director in U.S. history who was able to release something called the Joe Neady's files. What this file proved, and it had been hidden for over 60 years, was without a doubt, and this is not my analysis, this is not my opinion, this is based on evidence that we have backings on. Without a doubt, the CIA engaged in a cover-up of the JFK assassination. The CIA lied to Congress. Joe Neady's, who was a CIA operative, did indeed have contact and was observing Lee Harvey Oswald, who in my opinion was a patsy and cover for multiple shooters in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. If you would have said that last year, a couple years ago, they would have called you a conspiracy theorist. Yet every single person in this room knows conspiracy theory is only a matter of time before it's proven correct. See, for most members of Congress, their job is just to vote. But for me, it's far much more than that. It is to weed out the systemic corruption infecting the cancer on this country. And the only way that you can do it, you don't make peace with evil, you don't make peace with corruption, you destroy it.
You don't. You don't make deals with them. You don't make deals with Lindsey Graham. You get rid of the corruption. Pam Bondi was put in place to neutralize risk, guys. First Pfizer, now Epstein. She's a good soldier. Castro-Tell's been running interference. The DOJ is editing tapes. Now, whether Trump's cornered, compromised, or just defending the shield, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't like the looks of it. We're told to move on. No, we're not going to, And we even have people like Matt Walsh. Pam Bondi invited influencers to the White House and handed them big binders that literally said Epstein Files in huge bold letters on the front. If the files never existed, then why did the White House do that? Right? Exactly. They did that in the beginning until they looked at the files or were told to. Up until 10 seconds ago, there was unanimous agreement that Epstein was a Chester and child trafficker with high-profile clientele. Now everyone is believed to be a whack job and conspiracy theorist. It's a shameless 180-degree unexplained pivot that leftists typically specialize in. Very weird to see it happening on the right. It's true. This is why I'm so mind blown, is this is happening on the right. Really, guys, it's not even about justice anymore. It's about exposure. The list exists. Jeffrey Epstein was known to keep document of everything. Even when he had people come work on his home, he had two secretaries that would log in who there, how long, what times, and so on. We know the footage exists. And I'm not saying you need to release the footage. I don't need to see it. But I guarantee some freaking high-profile people are in that footage. We want the names of those people. We want them brought to justice. We want to know who he was getting this information for, most importantly. Who? Was it Mossad? We know the extraction was real. The blackmail archive is in federal hands right now. And the cover-up runs through Pam Bondi and the DOJ. We've been talking about the DOJ, how dirty it's been for years, and it's still dirty, even in Trump's circle. The deep state didn't disappear under Donald Trump. It reorganized. The truth is out there, but not for those who wait, but for those who fight for it, right? Now, share this video because nobody wants you to see it. And also, it's important to obviously be prepared. Get prepared in this time, this dark time. A lot of people ask, man, I wrote the Gray Man Protocol, Volume 1 and 2. I definitely recommend it. Go get the digital download. With the digital download, you get printable sheets for documenting surveillance detection runs, all that sort of stuff. But some of my elderly folk or some people that just want a book, we're only going to do it for Volume 1, though, because Volume 2 is too many pages and it'll cost too much to print. But tomorrow, the Gray Man Protocol Field Manual will be on the website. So it'll be on the website, guys. This costs a ton of money to make, but it's a field manual you can put in your pack, ready to go. It's got training protocols, all the training, actual testing you need to do is yellow. So it's easy, organized. It's got charts here, right? You name it, everything. Just flip through so you can see. Gear list and so on. But we got the manual. Everybody was asking for a hard copy so they could put in their pack. This is a training manual, though. You don't want to wait till the last minute to start when it hits the fan to start reading it. But Volume 2 again will not be. So if you do get Volume 1, don't expect to see Volume 2 printed. I don't plan to. Just the cost of these books to print was absolutely insane. But I got them here for you guys that don't know how to use tech. I get it. But I wanted to, and those who just want a hard copy to put on a shelf as well. Anyway, guys, these will be on site tomorrow morning. So make sure you snag them up. We don't have a lot of copies, but I wanted to get some made for those who wanted a hard copy. Anyway, guys, make sure you share, like, subscribe. All those sort of things help me fight the evil commies that try to shut us down. And always remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.